Hey everyone, this is Mike from vSwitch0.com. Today I'm going to take you through the process of how to update a NIC's drivers from the command line. There's a few different ways you can do this, including using Update Manager. I'm hoping to show that in a subsequent video, but for today we'll just do a one-off host here. In my lab environment, it's going to be ESXi, and all three of these hosts, A1, A2, and A3, they all run the SolarFlare 10 gig NIC here. It's a dual port card. This SFC 9020 is not the correct name. It's actually the SFN 5122F. If you watch the previous video that I did, I show you how to actually identify your specific NIC and find it on the VMware Compatibility Guide. So I won't go into that, but for this video today, we'll just show you how to update the driver. So we'll use host A1 as an example here. So I've got an SSH session open to it right here. And I'm just going to take a look at the current driver version that's here right now. So I'm going to use the command ESXcli network nic get, and I believe it's -n for name, vmnic2, which was the SolarFlare adapter. And you can see right here that the current driver version is 4.10.4.1000. And there's a slightly newer version that was just released, so I'm going to be upgrading to that version. So the download that I got from the link that was provided in the hardware compatibility guide took me to this file here. So this driver is the SolarFlare 4.10.9.1000 driver, slightly newer. So they usually come in zip format whenever you get a driver like this, and I'll show you what's contained within. The format of the zip bundle is usually pretty similar, but the file that we're interested in, there's actually two different ways you can do this. There's the VIB file and there's also an offline bundle. Both will work, but I prefer to just use the offline bundle since it seems to work in most situations. So what I'll do is I'm going to take this offline bundle. I'm going to just copy it to another location here. I'll just unzip it to my downloads folder. So here's the offline bundle now. It's a 204 kilobyte file. So the first thing we're going to have to do is get this file over to ESXi, the host. And there's a few different ways you can do this. You can use WinSCP if you like, or you can actually just use the data store browser and upload it in that way. I'll just use WinSCP since I believe I do have it on here. And I'm going to change the protocol to SCP, and I'm going to connect to ESXi, and I'm going to use the root credentials for this. And remember, if you're going to use SCP and WinSCP, you have to have SSH login enabled on your ESX host, and there's lots of good information out there on how to enable that. So if I log in here, I'm just going to accept the SSL thumbprint, and this is the root file system of the host itself. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this in the temp location. Temp is always a RAM disk, so you do have to be careful not to put anything too large here, but 200K offline bundle is no problem. So I'll just browse to the offline bundle. Here it is here. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload that over to the host. And looks like that's done. So if I go back over to the command line, now it's usually best practice to put the host into maintenance mode before you try to install the bundle. A lot of bundles will allow you to install them even if it's not in maintenance mode, but they do require a reboot, so it only makes sense to proactively do that. So I'll go ahead and do that real quick here for A1. I'm not sure if I even have virtual machines online here. Yeah, there's a few, but these are relatively small, so this should be pretty quick. And the magic of 10 gig networking makes really quick work of that. So it's now in maintenance mode, ready to reboot when I need to. So I'll go back over to the command line here. And I'm just going to navigate over into the temp location where I uploaded the file. And here it is here, 203 kilobytes. So in order to install this, the command you'll want to use is the ESXcli software command, sort of like this here, ESXcli software, VIB, And I'll just show you the options that you have when you do this. So there's get, install, list, remove, update. Now, since there's already a SolarFlare NIC on this system, we can actually just use the update, which updates VIBs to a newer version. So it's going to be the same VIB, the SFC module, but it's going to be upgraded. So I'm going to go ahead and use that option. And I'll just show you the syntax again after that. So it's actually looking for VIB name at this point. Now there's a few different things you can do. I usually just do --depot equals, or I think you can use -d as well. So a depot is what's considered an offline bundle or collection of the files that will comprise this driver. So I'll just do that, and I'll put the full path to the driver here. So I'll just go /temp/ and I'll just copy and paste the actual file name right here. And that should do it. And I'll go ahead and hit enter. And you can see it's doing some thinking. This usually just takes about a minute, not even 30 seconds for a small driver like this. Okay, so that finished. You can see here that it does report that the system does need to be rebooted for the change to become effective, and that's because the driver module is in use, so it can't really just unload it and reload the new one on the fly. And we can see here that this is the VIB that was installed, 4.10.9.1000, and it replaces this one here. So this is the one that was there previously with the same module name, and it has been removed. So that's done. So I'll go ahead and reboot this host now. You can do it from the command line, but I'll just go ahead and type the reboot command here. And that should do it. So I'll fast forward here a little bit while this reboots and be back in a second. Okay, so ESXi1 is finished rebooting. You can see it's back in maintenance mode. We've got no virtual machines here. So I'm just going to go back over to the SSH session for this one. And I'm just going to do a listing of the modules that are installed here to make sure that the new version of the SFC driver is here. So I'm just going to do ESXCLI software VIB list. And you'll see it returns a pretty long list of all of the modules that are on this host here. So I'm just going to go ahead and narrow that down with a grep. I'm just going to pipe grep SFC. So this will just return the ones with SFC in the name. I'm pretty sure that is in the name of this particular driver module. Yep, so it's net-SFC. So most of the driver modules will have net- in front. And you can see that the new driver version does match. So it's 4.10.9.1000. And I'll just go ahead and list out the physical NICs again, like I did previously. ESXCLI network NIC get -n, and it was VMNIC2. So this will get the driver information, and you can see here that the new version is installed. And so that's basically it. Now, of course, if you've got a very large environment with dozens of hosts or hundreds of hosts, this is a pretty inefficient way to go about updating your drivers. If you do have a small environment or you just want to do a one-off test or something, doing it by the command line is fine, or even for a home lab, for example. But if you have a larger number of hosts, there are better ways to do this. So stay tuned for another video, hopefully in the next day or two, where I'm going to show you how to actually create a Update Manager baseline and use that to update multiple hosts to a newer driver. Thanks very much. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thanks.